Hello friends, welcome to Islington Listens, wisdom from a community of faith that doesn't think the same, vote the same, or love the same, but we are trying our best to follow in the way of Jesus with compassion and hope.
Jesus went to the other side of the Sea of Galilee. This was also called the Sea of Tiberias. And many people were following him because they had seen the many signs that he was doing for the sick. Jesus went up the mountain and sat with his disciples. And when he saw the large crowd, he said to Philip, "What can we do to get some bread for these people to eat?" He said this to test him, for he already knew what he was going to do. But Philip said, 200 denarii could not buy us enough bread for everyone to have even a little. But Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said,
"There is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what are they among so many people?"
Jesus said, "Make the people sit down." There was an abundance of grass in this place, and so there was about 5,000 in all. Then Jesus took the bread, and after he gave thanks for it, he distributed it to the people. And the fish as well, all that they needed. And once everyone had had their fill and were satisfied, Jesus said to the disciples, "Collect all of the fragments so that nothing may be lost." And once they had collected all of the pieces, there were about 12 baskets full. The people said to one another, "Surely this is indeed the prophet who is to come into the world."
You know, these 3 things that just happened have something in common. Jesus would have known those words of the prophet that Nora and Emily shared. He would have known them the way you know the lyrics to a song. In fact, he would have had them memorized on his heart, and so would his community. And so we hear them again because they're words that say to us, hey, things could be different when it doesn't seem so easy. And then we heard a story about the disciples, about Jesus, about a couple of fish, a couple of loaves, feeding how many people? 5,000 people. Have you ever been in a crowd of 5,000 people? Have you ever been to a parade with that many people? Have you ever been to my favorite sign this week was this way to T-Swift and this way to the Leafs game with different colors because people were dressed differently and heading different ways. They were excited about 2 different kinds of crowds. Right. The Blue Jays depends on how they're doing, how many people go, doesn't it? But so the thing is, here's this story about people who couldn't wait to get near to Jesus. In fact, they went so close to him that they forgot their lunch, their food. They just knew that something about him they needed to know more about. And they didn't find out about it from Facebook. And they didn't find out it from Instagram. And actually, nobody even called them on the phone to tell them about it. They had to hear about it. Word of mouth from friend to friend to friend all the way along, that something about him was different. So different that they needed to come close to him to check it out. And some of those disciples who were with him from the beginning, well, you just sang their song. Because it had been a cruel summer for them. It had been rough in the empire, in the people who had had the power. And what happened was they were fishing and looking for it to be different than it was for their parents and their grandparents. And then this guy comes along and he says, it can be different. Why don't you come with me? Follow me. And what are the words? And your life will never be the same again. I wonder if you remember when you said yes to follow in his way. I wonder if you were given that way from the time you were little, or if you chose it. Or I wonder if you mapped your life out. If there are moments where you felt like, yes, I'm following, or no, I'm a little bit lost, or I'm not sure if the place where I'm following is the right boat or the right fit, but I might be tempted to check out if another way might be the way for me, or to learn differently about his way. Because for long before your parents were alive, people have been trying to figure out what it means to follow in the way of Jesus. And what they keep coming back to is this 4-letter word called love. Now, when you love something, don't you do everything to try and do it? There are people here who love pickleball, and they will play pickleball all night long. Yeah, people sign up to go and play pickleball like at 3 o'clock in the morning because that's when the pickleball is free. Or hockey, I've heard that too. It's a little bit hard to get ice time, I know. So I wonder what you love that you spend a lot of time doing. Or I wonder what you love but you don't do it anymore because your knees hurt or you're too busy with something else. When we spend time with the people that we love and doing things that we love, we are changed ourselves, right? You know what it feels like when you spend time with a friend and you have such a good time and then you come home at the end of the day and you feel filled up, right? That's how people felt when they came close to Jesus. It's what we hope that people feel when they experience being with us. But some days are hard, right? Ever had a hard day where you don't feel like you're yourself? Where you maybe show up and you say the thing you probably shouldn't have said, or you're a little bit grumpy, or you just kind of walk by and ignore someone? Ever had that happen? Yeah, sometimes following Jesus, well, it's not easy. It means that we need to be a little bit more gracious. Because imagine how many people were annoying to him after a while. You get 5,000 people in a room, it's not always easy. Heck, you get 3 people in a room, and what happens? Friendship, fighting. Listen, I live with 3 in my family, and we never want to watch the same thing on TV at the same time. We really don't. Adam really wants to always watch football, which is a certain kind of watching of TV, right? And Nora loves to watch TV shows about families where the parents are a little bit dumb and there's many kids. And the kids are having lots of fun, but the parents come off a little bit silly. And I actually don't mind to watch the odd show where the good guys beat the bad guys because that's not always how life is. But I bet you can think of the things that in your family we all get along doing, and then other things where you're always negotiating. But something happened for people when Jesus came around that they all kind of agreed that listening to him and spending time with him and doing the things that he did were clues to how life could be better, how it could show more love. So when Brianna and Finn tell the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000, there's some clues in there for us about what it means to follow Jesus, to trust that there will be enough if we share it, that we don't have to keep it all for ourselves, to be invited to follow him not alone, but with others, that when we're in conversation and we listen, that we hear different things and we talk to each other about it. When we really love someone, well, sometimes we want to dress like them, or eat the foods that they eat, or buy the things that they're buying. Have you ever noticed that lately? It doesn't really talk in scriptures about if people follow Jesus, did they start to dress like him? Did they want his sandals? Did they want to eat what he was eating? I'm curious about that. Because it seems to happen when we follow someone that we respect or we value, we want to kind of be like them. So what does it mean for us to follow in the way of Jesus and to be like him? That story today Well, it gave us one big answer. I could start throwing out fish right now. If you go to a concert, they have a t-shirt cannon and you kind of wait for the free thing, but there's many stuffed fish in this story. Maybe we'll pass them around, but I want us to think about the invitation to share in the next 6 weeks, particularly as we get ready for Jesus to be born. The thing that's crazy about the Bible is we tell the story in different orders so that the stories will talk to each other. And today, in those 3 stories, there's an invitation for us to find love in the midst of the crowd, to find love in the invitation to welcome, to find love in an experience of loving something that's so amazing that you have to tell other people about it. Thanks for listening, friends. For other ways to connect, go to islingtonunited.org. May God's wisdom and love keep finding you.